everyone, and welcome to the 2015 Renault Scenic. This specific Scenic is the Grand Scenic. The Grand Scenic has 7 seats and it is the long wheelbase version. There is also a short wheelbase which seats just 5 people. So today we have the 7-seater. It is a 1.5 liter diesel producing 108 brake horsepower and 192 pound-feet of torque. So not huge numbers, but this is what you would expect from a 1.5 liter diesel in a car that was mainly designed to cruise on the highway. It has a 6-speed auto, a dual clutch auto, so this is pretty nice to have in a car of this price and category. It does 0 to 60 in 12.1 seconds and it will hit 112 miles per hour. It has front and rear disc brakes and a semi-leather interior. Now this is not actually real leather, it is a special material which is made to look like leather, but it is designed to clean up easily and to be robust. So that is pretty nice to have, because real leather tends to shred and crack over time, and especially in hot climates. And the semi-leather interior, especially on the middle part of the seats, I think, in my opinion, is better than a full leather seat, because when the car gets really hot, the seat isn't actually burning, because you are sitting on the cloth part. So that is something to keep in mind if you are living in a very hot country. It has great amounts of storage space. The car is full of cubbies to put your stuff in, but it has to be said that there is a lack of cup holders in this car. There are just 2 cup holders down here, and in my opinion the place of these cup holders is completely wrong, because a bottle of water or anything can easily fall out of there and end up in the underneath the pedals, and you really don't want a bottle of water underneath your brake pedal when you are about to brake. So you should also keep that in mind. The cabin is very roomy, as you would expect from a car of this type. This car was designed to be comfortable and roomy, so there is ample amounts of headroom. I mean, I am 6 feet and I fit in here easily. Leg room is very good also, both on the front seats and on the back seats, but on the third row seats it is a bit cramped. The third row seats are really designed for children, let's say, or smaller people, so you should keep that in mind if you are going to buy this car and actually use the third row seats. It has a Bose sound system which is amazing, it sounds great, but this was an optional. It also has sat nav, which must be outdated by now, because the maps are on this SD card right here, and I don't think this is up to date after 5 years. It also has Bluetooth connectivity, voice command, an aux port, and a USB port, which was broken from the day this car was new. But what would you expect from a Renault? Something has to be broken. Although, that being said, this car has been pretty reliable for the past 5 years. Although 5 years is the amount of time that Renault provides warranty on these cars, so you wouldn't expect anything to break in the first 5 years. Stuff tends to break after the 5-year mark, so you should also be aware of that. The keyless entry in this car is amazing. In my opinion, Renault makes some of the best keyless entry systems in the market. The rear view camera is also great. It is really clear. And I have driven cars more expensive than this from BMW. It was a 2012 5 Series, so it was an older model, but the camera was not nearly as good as the one on the Renault. The touchscreen looks a bit dated. It is a 5-year-old car now, but it is fast and responsive, So there's nothing really to criticize about it as long as it works, and it is not laggy. It ticks all the boxes for me. So I think this is everything. It is time to take this car for a drive and see how it performs. So driving the Scenic, the first thing is seating position, which is upright and on demand. It is a really comfortable seating position. The windscreen is huge, as it always has been with Scenics, and I actually like it quite a lot because it lets a lot of light inside the car, and it really prevents you from getting tired. You can really see the road nicely, and you have plenty of light inside the cabin. Now, the dual clutch transmission is amazing. The shifts are really fast and really smooth. The engagement from a stop is amazing, and the car tends to keep the gearbox in a lower gear when you're going down a hill to maximize engine braking. Although this engine, being a small engine, doesn't have a lot of engine braking. Mileage in this car is pretty respectable. It is not the best, but it is very good if you consider how heavy this car is. It averages 7 to 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers combined, high 6 to 7 to low 7s on the highway, and high 7s to low 8s in the city, depending on your driving, of course. The ride quality is very nice. The car is soft and supple, although it is not too soft to the point where it does not handle well, because previous generations of the Scenic really used to be very soft, and the car really did not handle that great actually. The materials inside feel pretty cheap, although they are much better than what they used to be in older Renaults. Now this brings me to sound deadening. This car is pretty quiet on the inside, but because the materials are pretty cheap, and I do feel that this car has been put together pretty cheaply, I believe that over the years this car will get a bit noisy. The brakes in this car are very good actually, although it tends to go through pads and discs very quickly. I mean, every service, this car will need new discs and pads. I don't know why. I believe it is because this is a really heavy car, and I'm pretty sure that Renault uses some biodegradable pads and discs, probably because all manufacturers now are obsessed with environmental safety and saving the environment. So yeah, that's what you tend to have to deal with modern cars. The cruise control is the first generation of cruise control, so it is just a normal cruise control. You just set the speed and the car follows that speed. It won't brake for you depending on the speed of the car in front, and it does not have any lane keep assist. The dashboard is not to everyone's taste. It is a pretty thick and big dashboard. Although I quite like it, I think it fits the purpose and the design of this car. Now, finally, this car has automatic wipers and lights, which you wouldn't think is a necessity, but it is a pretty nice thing to have actually in a car. When you drive a car that does not have these features, you do miss it. So that being said, I think it is time to take this car on some slightly twistier roads and test the road manners of this car when it is pushed slightly harder to see if it is actually safe. Actual shifter itself. So this is not meant for fast driving. It is just to keep the car in a lower gear when going down hills. Now, my first impressions for this car through the corners is that this car is actually pretty impressive for the type of car it is. It does handle really nicely. It is quite flat through the corners, although if being pushed a bit too hard, there is a bit of body roll, but that is to be expected for a car this heavy and this tall. This car was never meant to handle well, but it actually handles pretty nicely. Now, this is definitely not a car you would drive fast in or take to the track, as I'm sure you know. But it is nice to know that this car handles well, because in an emergency situation you would be safe. This car also has traction control, which adds to the safety of this car. If you actually lose control of the car, traction control on new cars tends to really work well on keeping the car on the road or helping you bring the car back on the road. Now, this is everything for the Scenic. These cars are getting on the cheapest side now. So this is an amazing car for someone who needs a pretty economical, very comfortable highway cruiser to take a big family along for some very long rides. And this is going to be a reliable car still, I believe, because it is pretty new. It is just 5 years old, and some of them are actually even newer. So thank you for watching, and see you on the next one. Bye.